What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sports Investing 101 Fire Sports Takes Podcast, whatever you want to call it. If you're listening on Spotify, go subscribe to YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, go subscribe to Spotify. I have cracked the code here with the new gambling strategy that we're going to put into play here for the first time. We're going to see if it works. I'm desperate for some winners here. Never been this cold in my entire life. I just keep giving out losing plays left, right, and center. I'm appalled with myself. Here at Fire Sports Takes headquarters, we are taking matters into our own hands. 15 and 26. On the opening weekend, first weekend of the March Madness NCAA tournament. Not ideal. Not ideal. But I've been told you can do anything you put your mind to. And I truly believe that the harder you work, if you put in the hours, you can get good at anything. We're in a slump here. No two ways about it. The only way out is through. The only way out is through. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get back on track. We're going to get back in the green. That starts today. That starts with the Sweet 16. That starts Thursday. I have a whole new strategy. Make sure you stay till the end of the video for this new strategy. Yes, I'm going to be that guy. Yes, I'm going to be that guy. Make sure you stay at the end of the video. I will unload this new strategy. So, typical recording session. I log into DraftKings, right? I start recording. I place a few bets. I say some stupid shit, so I have to stop recording and restart. Also, in the midst of my recording, if you're watching on YouTube, you will see the screen here that I have now shared. Access denied from DraftKings Sportsbook. What is that about, DK? You don't like my money? My money not good enough for you? I've been giving you a lot of it. You're denying my access on this computer. I think I'm IP banned. I think that's what the kids call it, the nerds call it, from DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm appalled. I'm disgusted. I've been a loyal DraftKings user for not very long because I do go back and forth. I've been a somewhat loyal. I've been a DraftKings user. My money's green. My money's as good as anybody. If you're denying me access, I will never use DraftKings Sportsbook ever again. That's such a lie. But for the purpose of this video, I will never be using DraftKings Sportsbook again for the longevity of March Madness. That being said, let's dive into the plays. Here we are on FanDuel, since DraftKings hates me. These are the plays we have so far. And we did a lot before I realized I probably said some stuff on that last video, going through the ups and downs of a gambling event like March Madness that I probably shouldn't air out to the internet. Shout out me, using my brain, understanding there are lines here you can't cross, and I dabbled with the line. We're back, though. BYU Bama, first game of the weekend, Thursday night in Newark, New Jersey. Disgusting place. At 7 o'clock. Give me the Cougars, as you can see here. Give me them plus 5.5. Give me their money line. Give me the over 175.5 as well. Alabama has not looked great in their first two games. Robert Morris kind of held around. And St. Mary's team that plays at the slowest pace ever imaginable. They kind of hung around for a little bit. You look at the score, I think Bama won by 15. Doesn't tell the whole story. They hung around a little bit. Mark Sears hasn't been as unconscious as he was last year. What's their center's name? Grant Nelson banged up a little bit too. I think this BYU team, one of the hottest teams in the country, just dropped 90 on a Big Ten team and number 3 seed in Wisconsin. Richie Saunders has been an absolute bucket, 25 against Wisconsin. And this BYU team likes to run. They like to shoot threes. They have been shooting the three very well in this tournament. If they get hot, they can beat anybody. And it's a team that's been playing very hot compared to a team that hasn't been playing their best basketball. I mean, they're still winning games. They made the Sweet 16. I don't want to knock Alabama, but I feel like they could be winning against some inferior opponents more convincingly. Give me the Cougars plus the points, and give me the over as well. We got two highly prolific offenses. It's a high total. Over 175.5 is a lot, but BYU's coming off an 80 bomb and a 90 bomb in a tournament game against VCU and Wisconsin. VCU is not the worst defensive team. Wisconsin, not the greatest defensive team either, but Bama's not the best defensive team in their own right. So I like this BYU team. They shoot 37% from three. They're 58% from the field. A very offensive, very efficient offensive team. They don't turn the ball over a lot, and they shoot a lot of threes. They can beat anyone. They shoot 29 threes a game at 37%. That's a ridiculous amount of threes to be shooting at such a high clip. Good rebounding team as well. They don't allow a lot of second chance points. With Keita, I think Keita. I don't know how to say his name exactly. I don't want to butcher his name. I want to put some respect on the guy here. I'm pretty sure his name's let it load real quickly here. Bear with me. Keita. Big guy, big rebounding guy. Get a lot of boards. I think they can go toe-to-toe with this with this Alabama team. I like BYU on the money line. I like BYU to cover here. I think this is a very fun game as well. Good way to start the weekend. I think a lot of points will be scored. Give me the over. The 4th ranked offense versus the 12th ranked offense in the country at some very fast-paced, very fast-paced teams. Give me the Cougars, though. I don't think Alabama has the goods to get it done to set them up for a match against Duke in the round or in the Elite Eight, because I think Duke is the best team in college right now. Them or Florida, which we will get into the Gators now. Florida versus Maryland. And Florida came on a little bit of a scare against UConn. Beat them by 2 with that McNeely bullshit 3 at the end. But really, this game was in hand with like a minute left for the most part, 2 minutes left. They got a couple offensive rebounds on some missed free throws because they do have a lot of size down low. With Alex Condon and Thomas Haw, they have some good guard play, elite guard play. I think Walter Clayton Jr., I don't think there's a guard playing with more confidence than Walter Clayton Jr. right now. He's been an absolute stud, and this team is just so deep. They can beat you in so many different ways, but so can Maryland. The Crab Five they are sneaky coming off of not an upset win, but a buzzer beater win against a very good Colorado State team with an NBA guy and Nick Clifford, who did play well. But you have Derek Queen and Julian Reese down low, who I think can match up with Florida's size. I think they can keep this game close. And then you have Gillespie, who's a very solid guard, to kind of not counteract Walter Clayton Jr. because Walter Clayton Jr. is better. But I think he can go toe-to-toe with him a little bit. At the end of the day, though, I think Florida just has too much for this Maryland team. But this Maryland team is very good. They're a top 40 offense, top 25 defense. That falls into that KenPom eligibility to win the national championship. So wouldn't be surprised if Maryland comes out on top here. So we're going to sprinkle the money line. But we do love them plus 6.5. I think they keep this game close. And I think Florida takes care of business at the end of the day. But give me Maryland plus 6.5. Arizona, Duke. It's Duke all day here. It's Duke all day, minus 9.5. I think they're going to be blowing teams out the way UConn was all season last year. They are very deep. They have elite guard play. They have an elite front court. 2 lottery picks in the front court, one of them being the number 1 overall pick, and I think one of the best players one of the best one-and-dones ever in the history of college basketball. And, I'm getting this take out there early, new face of the NBA. I think this kid has a legit chance to be the face of the NBA. If you think I'm crazy, go watch his highlights against Team USA, where he played with them in the U18s, U19s, whatever it was. So I love Duke. I love Cooper Flagg. I love Tyrese Proctor. Knupple's also a guy that could potentially fall into the lottery. I think he is a lottery pick. He's mocked to be a lottery pick as well. So they have 3 guys that are going to be lottery picks. And then Tyrese Proctor, experienced guard. They have depth. This Duke team is an absolute wagon. There is one thing that is in play here, though, with Arizona, and that is the Caleb Love effect. If you're watching on YouTube and you pay attention to the screen here, his over-under is at 16.5. This guy absolutely owns Duke. He absolutely nuked. Who did they play? Come on, brain. Who did they play in the round of 32? And they absolutely eviscerated them. I think Oregon. Caleb Love, how much did he have in that game? He had 29, one of the hottest shooters at times, streakiest scorers at time in NCAA, experienced guard, and has a knack when he plays these Blue Devils at absolutely eviscerating, matched up with them a lot of times. In Carolina, Duke killer, certified, ended Coach K's career. The only way that Duke doesn't cover this spread, which I will be putting a hefty wager on them to cover 9.5, is if Caleb Love goes off and keeps Arizona in this game. They're going to go as far as Caleb Love will take them. Not because Caleb Love is the heart and soul of this team, but he just hucks. And if he has an off night against a team like Duke, I think Arizona's in real trouble. So to counteract to Duke minus 9.5, I'm taking Caleb Love over 16.5 because I think if Arizona does cover, Caleb Love is going to get 16.5. I don't think they will cover, but I also think Caleb Love can put a 20 bomb, a 25 burger, and a Duke still cover that 9.5. That's why we're doing Caleb Love over 16.5, Duke minus 9.5. If you made it this far, make sure you stay to the end because I do have a brand new gambling strategy that we will be putting into effect here. Here we go. Arkansas, Texas Tech, couldn't tell you a fucking thing. I am so clueless on this game. So clueless. If I had to play something down, it'd be Texas Tech minus 5.5. So clueless in this game. We get to Ole Miss, Michigan State. Tom Izzo talked about how he would rather die than not go on another run deep into this tournament. He's in the Sweet 16 again. His wins above replacement, I heard this on Part of My Take. If you don't listen to Part of My Take and you like sports, I don't really know what you're doing. It's one of the best sports podcasts out there. Shout out Big Cat, shout out PFT. His wins above replacement in the tournament, so like the amount of wins you're supposed to get, and then the wins above that, it's just absolutely unbelievable what Michigan State and has done with Tom Izzo there. Jaden Akins, great player. Jace Richardson, I think he's a lottery pick. Jeremiah Fears, his brother, who is a lottery pick. X Factor, Izzo guy, runs around, makes a bunch of plays. There's just a guy in Ole Miss who runs around wearing this little headband with 50 of his family members in the crowd, also sporting said headband, and his name is Sean Padula. This Ole Miss team absolutely beat the brakes off of a North Carolina team that didn't deserve to be there. Granted, they did not deserve to be there. They beat the brakes off of an Iowa State team who was natty eligible in that KenPom top 40 offense, top 25 defense without one of their best players. Granted, they still beat the brakes off them. The way Tom Izzo is a tournament guy, Chris Beard is proving that here. With Ole Miss, this team is scary. They are also natty eligible in KenPom, top 40 offense, top 25 defense. I think they win this game outright. They send Izzo packing home. I think Ole Miss has a real shot to get to the Final Four here. Take them plus 3.5. Take them at plus 146 and take the under in this game as well. I like Michigan State unders a lot because they do play just such great stifling defense, and they are in a similar way like that St. John's team, but not as bad as that. They can't shoot the three ball very well. They don't shoot a lot of threes, and they're not very efficient when they do, but they are so elite when they are defending it against an Ole Miss team that has a 372nd defensive 3-point rating. So Ole Miss doesn't shoot a lot of threes and don't shoot it very efficiently either, with one of the worst 3-point rates per Torvik in the tournament in the nation. And I think that's why I like the under in this one a little bit. Izzo, Beard, two of the best coaches, tournament coaches, going head-to-head. We get into the game of the week. That is Kentucky, Tennessee. Kentucky team has surprised me. They don't play defense, so people say, but they turned over an Illinois team that does not turn the ball over a fuck ton, and they handle business pretty well. They can score with anybody in this team. They're very experienced, actually. A lot of seniors. Lamont Butler has played in big moments before, and I think this is one of the biggest moments of his career, and he's played in the Final Four game. As the leader on this Kentucky team, he's been playing great ball, not just as a scorer, which we saw more against Illinois, but as a facilitator, as a defender. Lamont Butler, good 3-point shooter. They have a horrible 3-point rating. However, Tennessee doesn't shoot the threes a lot. And they do have elite 3-point perimeter defense, but when you're a team like Kentucky and you just huck them, I don't think it matters that much. They're going to get looks. They're going to play fast. Chaz Lanier has been playing absolutely outstanding for Tennessee as well. So I think the Vols have a chance more, but obviously have a chance. They're favored by 4.5. But there's just some teams that have some teams' numbers. Kentucky's beat this team twice already. Give me the Wildcats plus 4.5. Give me the money line. I'm not going to take a total in this game. I almost said give me the over. I'm not going to take a total in this game. But I love the Wildcats. I love the money line. This Kentucky team is not a Kentucky team of old like with Cal. At least towards the end of Cal's tenure in Kentucky. Older team, or a lot of one-and-dones, a lot of freshman guys. They got a lot of seniors, a lot of experience. I like Kentucky to take down Tennessee for the third time this year and head on to the Final or the Sweet 16, potentially the Final Four, if they can get past the Houston team that is very similar stylistically to Tennessee. So I think Kentucky here. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if we find Kentucky in the Final Four, and you think that, they're a 3 seed, so on the surface that might seem crazy. But when you see a Tennessee team and a Houston team, those are the teams that are in their way, because I don't think Purdue gets past them, gets past Houston, then you're gonna understand why I think that's crazy. Tennessee and Houston are two of the best teams in the country, so I think Kentucky has a real shot here because they stylistically match up with Tennessee very well. They beat them twice, and Tennessee is a very similar stylistic team to Houston. I just think Houston has more to offer offensively. But, I like Kentucky. I like their money line. And then we get in to Michigan-Auburn. Auburn tested a little bit against Creighton. With Kalkbrenner and the size down low, Johni Broome did not have his best day. And Michigan has played a lot of basketball over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. They won the Big Ten tournament, and they came in and they played a nail-biter against Texas A&M, and then they had to fend off a very scrappy UC San Diego team. They played a lot of fucking basketball in a week and a half. Now they have time to go home and rest before taking on the best team in the country, one of the best teams in the country, the number 1 overall seed, and they have the size down low to really compete with this Auburn team, not to mention Trey Donaldson, who's a very elite guard, who played for Auburn, transferred to Michigan. There's a lot of fucking storylines in this game, not to mention that Michigan gets past Auburn. It sets up a potential Michigan State matchup in that Elite Eight, which would be absolute cinema. I want to lean Michigan here. I don't think I can. I have the money line picked. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that right here. I don't think they can pull off the upset, and that they're 9.5-point favorites. I just think they have the size down low. They run the pick and roll with 2 absolute behemoths, and Danny Wolf and Golden, and Trey Donaldson's a solid guard as well. Like I said, I think they can go toe-to-toe with this Auburn team, and there's not a team that's hotter in the country right now than Michigan. It's just Auburn has too much, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, and they can score the ball better than this Michigan team as well. So I think this is the end of the road for Michigan, and I think Johni Broome in a bounce-back spot here after not his best performance against Creighton and Kalkbrenner. But I say bounce-back spot, but I think Michigan's size down low is just, it's so hard to deny it when you got 2 7-footers that you're running the pick and roll with. It's just, man, Baker Mazara's a real problem too. Pettiford, one of the youngest guys I think he's a freshman. I think he might come off the bench too. Great scoring threat. I don't think Michigan has the scoring in the backcourt that Auburn has, not to mention Auburn has the best player. So I think Auburn wins, but I think Michigan's size is good enough. It's big enough, and Trey Donaldson's guard play is good enough to keep them in this game. I kind of just circled around the same points a lot, but that's how I'm breaking things down. I'm breaking things down live for you, uncut. This is how I go through my losing process, because it is a losing process. But I have a new process we're going to get into after this game, or after this game. Purdue-Houston, give me the over. This total is way too low. For over 132.5, with the way that Purdue and Trey Kaufman-Renn have been scoring the ball, particularly Trey Kaufman-Renn, in the first 2 games against High Point and then against McNeese. But it's Houston minus 7.5. They are the better basketball team. One of the best offensive teams. Dylan Sampson. Is that his name? Is that the coach's first name? Is it Dylan? I know it's Sampson. Bear with me here, folks. I just want to make sure I get things right here. We are a sports podcast, W Journalism. We want to make sure that we get things right. Kelvin Sampson, not Dylan. It was Vin Sampson, whatever. That's not the point. I like Houston minus the points, but I like the over because Houston can score the ball pretty well, and Purdue has one of the best offenses in the country with Braden Smith. Fletcher Lawyer, who needs to get back on track and has not been shooting the ball very well. I posted a TikTok about that. Someone was in my comments, probably a Purdue fan, talking about how he's hurt. He shot like 47% from the field, or from 3. He needs to get back on track. They shoot the 3 38%, but not a lot of high volume. They like to get the ball down low to Trey Kaufman-Renn, who's been an elite scorer, kind of a Zach Edey clone, just not as much of a presence on the glass as Zach Edey was, and he doesn't get fouled as much. Purdue also doesn't get the Zach Edey whistle without having Zach Edey. So 7th-ranked offense in the country and the 10th-ranked offense in the country per KenPom. And they both play very slow, which is why I think that total's down, not to mention Houston plays very stifling defense. But I think these offenses are both elite, and particularly Purdue's with Braden Smith. They don't turn the ball over a lot, so I like the over, and I think Houston just has too much for them. They're the better team. And Purdue hasn't really played any elite competition so far in this tournament, and Houston is one of the best teams. Obviously, they're 1 seed. I think they're the weakest 1 seed, but they're 1 seed nonetheless. So give me Houston. That's what we have here, folks. Now, if you're watching here, this is the strategy. This is the strategy. Like I said, 15-26 over the first weekend. I am in absolute shambles, and this strategy is foolproof here. If you're watching on YouTube, you see that I have everything picked right here. There's only one game that I'm not touching, and this strategy will not apply to. This is what I think is going to happen. Everything that I've thought. Let me back up here. I placed a lot of bets here. 16 bets for Sweet 16 round of March Madness. 16 of them. They're all here to see on the screen here. I've 15 and 26. 15 and 26 last weekend. Imagine I faded myself the entire time, 26 and 15. I'm looking at 300. I'm looking at a lot of money in the green here. This is what we're going to do. The new strategy is just absolutely fading what I think is going to happen. Give me Bama minus 5.5. We're not going to take money line, no value. Give me the under 175.5. Give me Florida minus 6.5. This is the only game we're keeping is Duke and Caleb Love. That's actually no. We're gonna go and we're gonna take Caleb Love under 16.5. But like I said, I'm very confident in Duke just absolutely eviscerating everybody in their path. But we're gonna fade. We're fading everything except Duke spread. Fading everything except Duke spread. Give me Caleb Love under 16.5. Bear with me here, folks. We're going to go back to the basketball tab. We're going to scroll down here a little bit. If you're watching on YouTube, you see here. Oh, fuck. Wrong thing. Okay. Didn't touch this game. Sean Padula, Chris Beard, and Ole Miss. Nope. I like the under. Nope. We're going over. I like Ole Miss plus 3.5. Nope. We're taking Izzo and the Spartans minus 3.5. Fading myself. I like the Wildcats. I like the stylistic matchup here. They kind of have Tennessee numbers. Beat them 2 times. All the logic says Kentucky plus the points. Second week in a row as an underdog. They beat the shit out of Illinois as an underdog. Nope. We're going Tennessee. We're going Sakai Ziegler minus 4.5. Michigan Auburn. I love Michigan plus 9.5. Fade myself. 15 and 26 last week. Abysmal. Need to switch it up. Auburn minus 9.5. Houston. I like the over in this game. 2 top 10 offenses per KenPom. Why is it only 132.5? I understand Houston plays great defense. I think it should go over. That means it's going under. 132.5. And I like Houston to cover the spread. You know what that means? Purdue's covering. That's the golden strategy. Just, you go through everything. You try to be as unbiased as possible in what you think's going to hit. And then you just take the absolute opposite. That's where I'm at. Let's see if it pays off. Here at Fire Sports Takes headquarters, my brain's in absolute shambles. This tournament, Vegas is absolutely owning me. I need to switch something up. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is called being a psychopath. So I'd be an idiot not to change things up here. But the only way out of a gambling slump is through. I have a brand new strategy fully in effect. Here we go. I know what's gonna. I think I have my opinions about what's going to happen. You take that. You go to the sports book. You place all the bets you think that's gonna happen. You scroll back to the top of the sports book and you pick the opposite. That's the play. That's the golden strategy. If you made it this far, hit the subscribe button. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Twitter at DSOC with a few underscores. Follow on Instagram, TikTok at Fire Sports Takes. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Catch you on the next episode of the Fire Sports Take podcast /Sports Investing 101.